Before you start copying and pasting the same essay into different medical school secondary applications, we need to have a conversation, mentee. Believe it or not, medical admissions teams can tell if you rushed it. You've done so much, you've worked so hard, and I don't want your secondary application to be the reason why you don't get an interview. So let's chat. Hey, mentee, it is Dr. Norte, your favorite medical mentor, and welcome back to another video. Congratulations. If you are working on secondary applications, that means that you have submitted your primary application and we are officially in the game. This feels super exciting, and it is until your inbox starts filling with essay after essay after essay after essay. One school wants to know about the challenge you've overcome. Another wants to know about why us. Another school is asking about diversity, and another is asking all three. Before you know it, you're asking, can't I just recycle the same essay 10 different ways? And the answer is yes, sometimes, but it's not in the same way that you're thinking. Today, we're going to talk about the most common mistakes that students make when writing their secondary applications and how to avoid them. We're also going to talk about how to stand out when writing your secondary application. Make sure you are staying till the last tip because, of course, that is the most important one. And I'll be sharing a resource with you that will make this entire process so much easier. We're not going to waste any more time. Let's jump straight in. So, the first one is choose your schools wisely from the beginning. When you do your research, even before submitting your primary application, writing your secondary becomes that much easier. When you're doing research on schools, you want to look into their mission. You want to look into the different programming that they have, curriculum, location, and so many other variables that may be important to you. If you didn't do that work beforehand, now you're having to go in and ask yourself the question, why did I pick this school in the first place? Schools are not looking for compliments. They're looking for why you chose their school to apply to. So, make sure you are doing that work before you even submit your primary application. That is going to make a big difference in how easy it is for you to write your secondary. If you're at the point where you've already submitted your primary application and didn't necessarily do the appropriate research beforehand, go ahead, do that research now and understand why you want to go to that school specifically. And when you're writing your response, make sure you are very detailed and specific and not vague. If you are vague, schools may think that you are using the same response for many schools. So make sure you are sure about why you chose that school and write that in your response. The second tip is don't just tell them what happened, tell them why. This is actually a big mistake that students readily make when writing their secondary applications. They'll tell admissions directors, I volunteered here, I shadowed here, I led this organization. Okay. And admissions committees need a little bit more. If this is something that's important to you, chances are you've included it in your activities or even spoke about it in your personal statement. They want to know, how did this experience shape you? Why is this actually important to you? How will it change the face of medicine and how you show up in the medical field? They're really trying to get a deeper understanding of who you are as a student and if you are a good fit for their medical school. I need you to understand that experiences don't make an applicant memorable. Reflection does. The third tip is to actually answer the question that is being asked of you. Mentee, I beg you, please answer the question. I know that you've put in a lot of hard work into a beautifully written response. You love it. However, it's a question about diversity, and somehow it's turned into a response mostly about research. You missed the assignment completely, but we can fix it. Every secondary question has a purpose. You've submitted your primary application, and now schools are sending you additional questions that are important to them to make sure that you align with their mission and the types of students that they are looking to admit into their school. So make sure that you're slowing down, you're reading the prompt and answering the question that is being asked of you. Don't worry about trying to be perfect or trying to fit into their box. Be authentic and you will get matched into the school that you are supposed to go to. A popular question that schools will ask you about is diversity. And I know that a lot of us are URMs. So when we think about diversity, we automatically think about ethnicity or race. But I want us to think outside of the box to answer some of the diversity questions. I want you to think about your background, your experiences, the way that you approach certain problems or conflicts, and what you can bring to the team that may be different from the typical way to approach a situation. This can be an opportunity for you to stand out from the rest of the applicants and be a breath of fresh air for the admissions committee. Actually, let's practice together, and I think that it will make a lot more sense. We're going to make up a fictional medical school. Let's call it MK and Mentoring School of Medicine. And this is the essay prompt. Describe how your unique background, experiences, or perspectives will contribute to the diversity of our medical school community. Now, before you even start typing, pause. A lot of students want to jump right in and just start typing. But brainstorming and making an outline is going to make your life so much easier. So let's go ahead and do that together. Let's use Dr. Norte for example. This is a really big sports year, so we're going to use sports for this example. Go Knicks, go Ghana. So in my younger years, I was an avid sports player. I was a shot putter on the track and field team, and I actually held the championship title for over 10 years in my county, and I was also volleyball captain. So let's go ahead, let's write that down. So, after we've written that down, we need to think about two things. Why is this important, and how is it going to make me a better applicant for their medical school? So, we need to know that for ourselves before we start writing because it will make the writing process a lot easier. So, when I'm thinking about why this is important, or why I'm actually telling the admissions committee this, I'm thinking about okay, sports brings on a spirit of teamwork, both academically and clinically. It has also taught me resilience with success after failure, understanding how individual success helps the entire team succeed. These are things that are definitely needed in medicine. I also know that I want to be a pediatrician. So I can use that to teach my patients about physical activity at a young age, building healthy habits into adulthood, and remaining committed to a goal. So when you're making your outline from the brainstorm, you need to map out exactly what you will talk about in each paragraph. Most secondary applications are going to be short responses, so somewhere between 250 to 500 words. So for Dr. Norte, in the first paragraph, I want to talk about what it is I'm going to be talking about, which is the sports, and then also what I learned from playing sports. So that's going to be my first paragraph. In my second paragraph, I want to talk about how those lessons will be utilized as a medical student and throughout training. And in my third paragraph, I want to talk about how the lessons that I learned from playing sports will add to my career as a pediatrician. Okay. Do we see how that's mapped out and how that's going to bring a little bit of a different spin to the diversity question? Okay. So let's look at an example of how that secondary essay will actually look. Okay, so I want you to go ahead, pause, read the essay, and then we're going to come back and discuss. Go ahead, pause now. Do you see how in the essay I spent a little bit of time, mostly in the first paragraph, stating what I was going to be talking about and the lessons that I learned? But most of the response is answering the question that was asked. And that's what you want. You want to make sure that you are answering the specific question that you are being asked while being creative and while putting a little bit of a different twist on the typical answers that admissions committee sees all the time. Hopefully, going through this brainstorm outline to response helped you guys get a better perspective on how your secondary should be written. And if you have any additional questions, go ahead and ask me down in the comment box, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys. Alrighty, let's move on to the next tip. The fourth tip is to not copy what you've already written in your personal statement or in your activity section. It's very easy to fall into the trap of copying what you've already written in your activities or personal statement because what you wanted admissions committees to know about is what you included in your primary essay. If you want to include something that you've already written about, then create a different twist on what you've already said. If you've included a volunteer experience in your activity section and you wrote what you did in that volunteer experience, then in your secondary application, I want you to expand on what you've written. Think about a specific scenario or a significant interaction that you had during that experience and tell the admissions committee more. Allow them to see who you are, to see the way that you think, to see the way that you navigate different situations. This is a way to include something that you've already talked about, but not say the same exact thing. Using experiences from your personal statement may not be the best thing to include in your secondary because you've already had the chance to explain that experience. It's easier to use something from your activity section and expand on it than using something that you've already talked about in depth from your personal statement. The fifth tip is to make sure that you are working smarter and not harder. A lot of students will get the advice to pre write your secondary applications. And Dr. Norte understands that completely because a lot of essays come in at once. And if you can have essays written in advance, then it is going to be easier to hit that submit button quicker because you have to turn around your secondaries in a quick amount of time within 2 to 3 weeks from receipt. However, my best advice is to make a solid brainstorm and outline for the typical questions that you will be asked. Explain a challenge that you've been through, diversity questions, also, why our school. Make sure that you are writing an in depth outline on different ways that you can answer these questions so that all you have to do is go back to the outline and tailor it for each school. If you do nothing else, Having a pre written brainstorm and outline will save you. And better than pre writing these responses, having the outline will make sure that you are focusing on what the exact prompt is. A lot of schools reuse their prompts from previous years. However, if a school changes their prompt, but you've already written a pre written response, you're less likely to change the essay that you have written. So, having the outline forces you to read the question and answer the question that you are being asked of now, and not a previous question that is similar but not the same exact question that they are asking now. Creating your brainstorm and outline are great ways to stay organized when writing your secondary applications. It is very important to stay organized throughout the entire application cycle. And that's why I created the med school acceptance tracker to keep you organized so that you don't miss any secondary application. It can get overwhelming really quickly, and the application tracker allows you to have everything in one place. The best thing about the application tracker is that it has an interactive live dashboard, which gives you a snapshot of your interview season in just one click. So go ahead. I have the med school acceptance tracker down below in the comment box for you to access today. Stay organized, be at peace, and get into the school of your dreams. And I have one more bonus tip. Make sure that you keep it brief and to the point. Secondary applications are 250 to 500 words. That means that every single word, every single sentence counts. Make sure that you're canceling out the fluff and you're getting to the point and answering the question. Admissions committee just want to know more about you. A lot of the time, telling a long, drawn out story is going to waste space that you could have used to tell the admissions committee why you deserve to be a medical student this year. So cut out the fluff and get straight to the point. They have so many applications to read. So, reading an application that just answers the question is truly what they need. So, make sure you are that applicant that is getting to the point. Secondaries can definitely be overwhelming, but they don't have to be. I don't want you to think about it as extra work. I want you to think about it as another opportunity to be your own brand ambassador and tell the schools why you are the best candidate for their school. I know that you guys can do it. Be intentional, be specific, be authentic, be you. Honestly, be yourself. And I promise you, the best school will be able to see you through your responses. I am rooting for you, mentee. In the comment box, I want you guys to tell me what is the most unique or the hardest secondary question that you guys have seen thus far. Go ahead, let's talk in the comment box. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have not done so already, make sure you sign up for the MKN Mentoring newsletter. Don't miss out on all of the goodies. Go ahead, everything is down in the comment box. So go ahead and do that right now. Alrighty, mentee, I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.